You guys' business is included in that.
We're gonna make you famous. One of the four fake ones.
Just last presentation, we just voted last presentation.
I was like at work and I was hungry and I grabbed my food and I was looking and I put it in the microwave and I just put it here and I brought the wait was like more traffic than I expected Friday because I don't want to drink food because I'm driving at night so I'm back at night an hour which is so I was like okay so I brought my like 5 minutes not eating anything the whole day so I was like okay I'll have something but just like apparently when you put the lid on when it's hot it goes into suction.
Oh yeah, I've had this one.
I'm gonna starve the whole day. And the problem is you love that storm. I think nothing, it's not working. You are there for this. We tried with the key. And it didn't work.
I ate.
Something easy. That's not. The problem is I stopped eating usually at night.
Either one of them.
Not eating meat, and now we're done. I think they're good. Think? I don't think that's gonna work. I think you're gonna make it worse. But I was like, I think it's gonna open, but I don't know.
Alright, folks.
After you're
One
done.
more minute and then we'll start.
This way, I want to see.
It's cookout turn.
Oh, I just want to see where.
Run it under warm water.
Do you have a fork?
Oh, that's so smart.
It's like opening a jar. That's a good idea.
Do you have a fork or anything?
No, I tried to
15%.
How are we gonna
plastic
eat?
fork. Plastic fork is not gonna work.
Go run it under
You're a
warm
good negotiator. I've been trying for hours now.
This has happened so many times now.
I never knew that. Now I know. You know what's the problem? I don't prepare meals. That's why I'm not an expert.
So just, yeah, just get takeout.
I survived. The problem I was gonna punish myself not eating, but so I don't. I'm trying to lose weight, so I don't eat after 9 or 8.
Okay, hello everyone. We're very excited to present our project to everyone. So our project is called AID Triage. So that stands for AI-based dynamic triage. So we'll start with a case and a problem. So we have John here. He's enjoying his Saturday night with his friends. He all of a sudden trips and falls on the ice. He holds onto his wrist. He's in pain. He was confused. He didn't know what to do. Is it just a sprain? Should he leave it till tomorrow and try to see someone in clinic? Clinics are closed because it's a Saturday night. And he does not really want to go to the emergency department because he feels that it will spend more time than it should, and it's a bit frustrating sometimes to go to emergency. So we'll start with the problem. So before starting with the problem, we will propose this to be a solution to the frustration that is surrounding Emerge. So the problem is our emergency rooms in Canada. So we have found that from literature, 15.5 million visits to emergency department were documented in 2023. Half of them were visits in Ontario. The data also shows that the CTAS, which is the Canadian Triage and Acuity Scale system, most of those people who present to Emerge, 22% of them actually present with low triage scores, meaning that they are problems that can be managed elsewhere in either clinic or a family doctor's office. The wait times in Emerge are 7.7 hours on average. And also here, if you look at the letter on the right-hand side, so this is basically a letter from the emergency department physicians. They have sent it to the Minister of Health requesting a solution to the overcrowding that is happening in emergency departments. Looking at the problem, we would be able to save $290 million annually if this problem is solved.
Okay, thank you, Hameen. So as Hameen eloquently explained, emergency rooms in Ontario are facing a crisis. I am Mohammed and I'm happy to share with you our solution, which is an AI-powered triaging system that is available 24/7 and helps patients decide on whether to go to emergency rooms or to wait for their family doctor. Our company's strategic and ultimate goal is to help emergency rooms streamline their flow by leveraging AI technology. This is our vision, mission, and values. We're happy to discuss them with you, but I think you probably would be more interested to know how the solution would work. Going back to John, so John is able to call the closest emergency room to him. He will get in touch with a virtual AI conversational tool that will be able to give him, obtain informed consent, and then engage in a conversation, and based on that conversation he would be having one of three possible outcomes. So his situation would be either deemed to be emergent and he would be transferred to 911, or he would be considered to have an urgent medical need, and at that point he would be redirected to the emergency room and his data would be shared with that emergency room. And the third option is if he is deemed to have a non-urgent issue, and at that point he will be advised to consider going to his family doctor and get the option of having the conversation faxed directly to their family doctor. That's from John's perspective. From the hospital's perspective, if John is deemed to have an urgent issue, a live dashboard will be there in the emergency room. John's name, CTAS level, along with his chief complaint will be visual to the emergency room physicians, and all the calls, in addition to the historical data that we have, will be used to project an hour-to-hour anticipated flow and image. That's from the active in-the-minute flow. The rest of the data will be shared with the admin team and can be used for their own balance scorecards and their own data analysis.
So here we can see the POTUS 5 forces which very diligently capture the market dynamics. So we can see that the bargaining power of suppliers is low. What it basically means that there are so many AI platforms and AI tools that are widely accessible. In contrast, the bargaining power of buyers is high because there's so many patient engagement solutions that are available to the healthcare providers. The threat for new entrants is moderate because it requires a lot of capital investment and the regulatory requirements are strict. The threat for substitutes for us could be the human call centers or in-person consultations. Lastly, the competitive rivalry is high because there are so many competitors which are available in the market, all the big names. But our main competitive advantage point would be that we are focusing on Ontario's specific needs. Adding onto this list is the POTUS 6th force, which is the government. We anticipate it to be high because we might face a lot of resistance. But what we are planning to do is maybe have a pilot phase where we can collect data from 5-6 hospitals, how this tool is working for some time, and then present it to the government to have their to assure them that this works. Coming to the SWOT analysis, our strengths are that it is definitely cost saving by reducing the administrative burden. We are available 24/7. It can be scalable, both vertical and horizontal, and can lead to better patient outcomes. Coming to the weaknesses, of course, we need a lot of upfront investment for development and implementation. The AI tool would need some kind of language development, and that may be challenging. And also, we can have some challenges with integration with the existing EHR system in Ontario. Opportunities, there are a lot of opportunities. We can expand to chronic disease management and telemedicine growth. And regarding the threats, the data privacy, regulatory changes are a big risk, but definitely we plan to incorporate major security issues to address the problem.
So this is our strategic map that we have built to achieve our strategic goal. So in regards to financial performance, our goal is to have financial efficiency and self-sustainability and also make money and profit out of this project. So to do that, the goal is to expand in customer base within the first 5 years. And then also we are hoping to reduce the average triage time to under 5 minutes to reduce the internal costs. Also to do that, targeting the customers, we will provide reliable projections of ED visits and also reduce the CTAS scores of 4 and 5 visits to the emergency department. And then from a learning innovation aspect, we are planning with this triaging system to be for it to be safer, and that we are trying to aim also to reduce the human error piece of triage and also foster culture of innovation. So this is our balanced scorecard. For the sake of time, we won't go into all of its details, but we have our objectives. We also have our KPIs that we aim to measure our outcomes with. So for example, if we're focusing on decreasing the errors, so we're aiming to have triaging system that is safer than human triaging. And to measure that, we aim to look at the aid triage numbers, so CTAS of between 4 and 5, that the aid tool ended up deciding for them not to come to the emergency department. So we're measuring who of those actually presented to the emergency department after, which means they were triaged lower than what they should have been triaged, and the errors we're aiming for them to be less than 4.4%.
So this slide just shows the competitors that are available in the market, and versus if you can see our solution, the aid triage basically acknowledges that there is a pressing need for ED overload in Ontario. And our solution, the aid triage, is an advanced real-time triage which is tailored to Ontario's workflows. It focuses on the specific EHR integration, and it will be compliant with the Ontario's regulations. For the scalability, it can be scaled up to chronic disease management, post-discharge follow-ups, and it is accessible, senior-friendly interface and multilingual, and will have affordable pricing. So the main competitive advantage is our focus on Ontario's specific needs, ensuring that it complies with the Personal Health Information Protection Act of Ontario. It's tailored to the healthcare system, and it integrates a triage into the local ED flow and generates more accurate results. So with diverting the non-urgent cases, we generate money, we are accessible, and there is market scalability, which is there in the tool.
Okay, Dragons. I'm sure, I bet you're itching to jump into this opportunity, and we are at this point offering you 10% of our company for $500,000 in equity and $1 million as a loan with 8% interest. We will use this money basically to build our AI tool and training, and also an initial research. And we believe our ongoing costs will be covered by our cash flow. We have a lot of assumptions, including the growth rate we expect. We are happy to answer any questions about it, but based on these assumptions, we expect a net present value of $9 million, and with a plus minus 15% sensitivity analysis, we expect something between $5 and $13 million of net present value. And that's great for us, but the system also is benefiting. And what's there for the customers is that the net present value of the savings that the Ontario system will gain is $30 million, with a sensitivity analysis to be something between 29 and 35 million. So we're just getting a small chunk of that. In conclusion, ED rooms across Ontario are overwhelmed. Fifth of the patients presenting to ED can be diverted to other places, and the solution, air triage, is a win-win situation. Thank you, everyone. Happy to answer any questions.
I can go first. In your revenue model, so where is your revenue coming from? Is it is it software being bought, or is it a license? What is the revenue model?
So it is a license. We have the software that we will continually improve as we go, and it's a subscription model. So emergency rooms can subscribe. The cost would be $50,000, and plus $5 per call that we receive for that specific emergency.
So I don't see the cost. Will pay the cost associated with it?
Yes. So we have it here. So the upfront costs and also the ongoing costs. I'm happy to talk about any detail.
And so these are thousands?
So basically 600,000, 400,000, yeah.
Salary seems really small.
Yes, that's a great point. So we are not, like, you can see we are six, we have four of us here, but we have two other members. We own most of it. We are only giving up 10%, and we focus on the scalability and the future value of our efforts.
The main value here is helping make the decision as to whether or not someone should go to emergency or is that correct? So are you sure that EHR integration is needed for that? Like how useful would it be if the person was just able to have that conversation without having any of the background data, like could a decision support tool without that integration allow you to redirect in the same way, provide the same value? I'm curious how you think about the additional value of having that integration. It seems like there's a lot of cost associated with that, and a lot of maintenance and privacy implications and all those things. So I'm just wondering, is that extra step of complexity worth the value that
that needs to learn. So we need to feed them. So basically, EHR integration does two things to it. First, it specifically tailors the tool to learn on Taylor's work. First, and second, the more data we feed to it, the better it becomes. So that's why in the long term, it's going to be beneficial.
So a big part of the value in that integration is the learning, the initial learning upfront, and ongoing.
Yes, there are tools that are doing the same thing in the United States, and we just trying to tailor our model based on our own Ontario's working environment.
So, you focused on a really crucial issue, which is overcrowding and waiting lists, waiting time in the emergency department. And there have been many attempts, seems to me, to improve that internally. It's interesting that you've taken the focus of improving that externally, but basically trying to keep people away who don't need to be there. And you know, I think that's a very good direction. I think that and I think in your data you were suggesting that 1 of 5 is inappropriate, which is probably conservative. Unless you're a trauma center, that's probably conservative. But I think Dan was sort of saying, and that is, the savings are going to be indirect, right? Very clearly, they're going to be indirect. On the other hand, as far as do you think a patient, describe the patient experience, are they going to be satisfied talking to a computer that tells them they don't need to go to the emergency department? I think you're going further than that and suggesting that there are alternatives that should be, and follow-up should be, if that's what I'm, but that, it seems like that's, you know, that's a noble goal, but that's going to be quite a bit of information that's going to have to be available in that computer program. But I think it's possible, but do you think, from the patient's perspective, they're going to accept that answer, going, oh, great, I don't have to go to the emergency department?
So the thing with it's all about the wait times when it comes to patients, and that's usually their point of frustration when it comes to emergency department visits. So we're hoping that by this we are trying to not make them wait the long wait that they don't really need to. So that is part of hopefully the satisfaction that they will receive, but also the call